Gender-based violence. What is it all about? Gender-based violence, or GBV, is violence directed to any person based on their sex, their gender identity, stereotypes, gender inequality, or perceived gender roles in their society. The United Nations define GBV as not only the act of violence that may result in physical, sexual, or mental harm, but also the threat of such acts. GBV is rooted in the inequalities between men and women, and it's important to also remember that this type of violence also includes the violence against people based on their sexual orientation. Is GBV just about violence against women and girls? No, it only means that violence directed at a person because of their gender. Both men and women will experience GBV. GBV is one of the most prevalent human rights violations in the world, and it is directed at women, men, children, the elderly, the LGBTQI community, and it can happen both in heterosexual and homosexual relationships. Abuse generally takes place behind closed doors. This is called intimate partner violence, or IPV. Abusers are master deceivers. They have a public image and a private image. They know how to hide their abuse from others outside the home in order to protect their public image. By keeping the abuse behind closed doors, the victim may not even realize that he or she is being abused. The abuser will make the victim believe everything is their fault, and this will result in low self-esteem. In this series of videos, we will discuss GBV and the COVID-19 pandemic, physical abuse, coercive control, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, child abuse, elder abuse, neglect, abandonment, modern slavery, cultural abuse, identity abuse, harassment and stalking, and image-based abuse. GBV is a global pandemic, and it can affect absolutely anybody. The United Nations estimates that 1 in 3 women will experience gender-based violence in their lifetime. What are the common barriers for seeking help in victims experiencing IPV? Some of it includes fear of the partner's reaction, fear of abandonment, and accusations of infidelity. It also includes social isolation and shame, people regarding violence as normal and not serious, threats of losing your children, perpetrators accompanying victims to the health facility, and lacks of alternatives of employment. The systems that is supposed to catch these violent acts are also not always working. Healthcare providers do not always identify it. Police can be dismissive, and the legal system does not always work. Psychological effects on the victims of IPV includes fear, guilt, and shame. It can also include depression, suicide, substance abuse, and poor day-to-day functioning at work or as a parent. But there are also physical effects such as injuries, early teenage pregnancies, STIs, HIV, unwanted pregnancies. And the worst outcome of any kind of abuse is death. Economical and social effects on the victim of intimate partner violence are long-term effects. These include things like poverty, abandonment of his or her family, or even disability. Intimate partner violence and gender-based violence does not only affect the economy of a country, but it also has an effect on future generations, on children who grows up in houses of violence. There are many organizations out there that can help victims of gender-based violence. Don't turn a blind eye. Help someone today.